So I have to shave my head.
What?
I
Why?
have to.
Why?
Okay, so like I was taking a shower and I bent down to pick up something, and at the same exact time, this freaking giant spider like went plop, like hit the ground where I had bent over. And like, yes, it could have come from the ceiling, but also it could have come from my head.
That's
I can no longer live in the reality that there could be a spider making a family in my hair. So I have to shave.
What's going on? I feel like a lot of people, we've been talking about insects a lot lately.
I have to shave.
It's a movement. It's summer though. It's summer.
I've made up my mind.
You don't have to shave.
I have to shave, which is unfortunate because I have a mole that's going to make eye contact with a lot of people. I can't live like this.
I've always been like worried that if I ever lost my hair or had to shave, I'm a very freckly person. I have moles everywhere. I remember I went into like a doctor appointment once, just a simple checkup. And you know how you have to wear like the robe with like the open back?
Yeah.
I was just sitting like facing away from the door, and she walked in and she goes, "Oh, we're freckly."
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the first things she said to me. And I was just like,
You're like, yes, hi, nice
love
to meet
that.
you too.
Yes, very Irish. I got lots of freckles. So
Well,
anyways, yeah, that's a concern because I know they're on my head. I know it.
yeah.
I see them sometimes every once in a while.
It's unfortunate.
This is weird. We are talking about moles on your head. What's happening?
Goodbye, hair.
New topic, change now.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the pod. I'm Ashley.
To the pod. I'm Taryn.
And this is Unsolicited Advice, where you guys send us your emails if you did not know.
It's like a weird
Of stories, of awkward situations.
just going to keep
Serious things.
bulldoze, right?
And we give you our unsolicited.
Not even.
Finish it.
Here. Okay.
Say advice. Say
Advice.
it. Advice.
That's one of the things I've come to like love.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not love, but like
You
mainly
love,
love about our friendship is
You love
like
it.
you fully graduated past like you can fully tune me out.
100%. Well, it's not even that. Like if I have to, obviously I would stop and pay attention.
If
my train of thought is going, I can't stop the train. It's unstoppable.
Well,
if I stop to acknowledge what you're saying, then I'm going to forget what I'm saying. And then I just sound like an idiot on our podcast here.
You never sound like an idiot. But yeah, I think it's because of all the times that I'm just freaking weird. Like, and I'll acknowledge it. Like I do weird things.
She does.
But so you've created this skill for those times, but the times where I'm actually like, wait, pay attention to me. It's like, I don't blame her because I've created this.
Yeah. This
So,
is your monster.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
End of story. If you guys love, and I've been talking to a lot of you guys lately on direct messages on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. It's a good time.
Shout out.
And a lot of you guys are new. Like I'm seeing
I've
that
seen
there's a lot of
that
new
too.
listeners that have been binging the pod is what literally verbatim what they say.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, hey, what's up? I'm Ashley. That's Taryn. And we're happy you're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't yet, subscribe and follow us on Instagram because, we think we're a good time.
Honestly, like that's the only thing that matters. Like I think I'm hilarious and fun. So
You are hilarious.
Which is great because I'm alone most of the time. So as long as I entertain myself, I think life will continue to just go swimmingly.
Swimmingly. Love that.
Swimmingly. I'm trying to think if there's like anything. We actually recorded our last episode so freaking early, very unlike us.
Yeah.
So sorry, Mark, for our tendencies.
We're all over the place.
Yeah. And so like when Monday came and the episode dropped, like I was a little bit like, oh yeah.
What did we record?
That was so long ago. So now it's been so long since we recorded. I'm like, I feel like I should catch everyone up when in reality, they're hearing us the same.
Yeah, nothing's changed for them. It's all mental.
Yeah.
Brush it aside.
Do you have anything?
Not really. Maybe we should just jump into it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but what about all the people who just come here to hear about us, Ash?
Nothing new. I literally have nothing new.
Me neither. I just was hoping you would
Why
like
are you
say
putting
something.
me on the spot? Okay.
Because I love you. Okay. Anywho, well, we're excited to get into this episode. We're super freaking excited because we're starting to like gear up for the
mother freaking October series. Right? Spooky. That was good.
Is it going to keep?
Okay, you're done.
Okay.
If you guys don't know, especially for the new people here, we had so much fun last year for October. We changed the entire setup of our podcast and made it all about scary stories. It's the same concept where you guys send us your own personal stories or stories you've heard or stories from friends, but it's only spooky themed.
And we like gave our advice too about like how we would handle the situation. Like we would look up like tips on what to do. So it's definitely still, you know, advice on like the most important topic, which is how to not survive. Die. So, if you're like, well, I just want the advice, we'll help you and we'll keep you alive. So
I was thinking about it. When this episode goes up, it's going to be September 1st.
Shut up.
Which means it's literally a month away.
Okay. Can we acknowledge that summer's already happened? Because I still feel
summer
like it
came and went. I'm looking down and I'm just like, you didn't get tan. You didn't.
Quarantine
nothing happened.
Man.
It's weird this year. But yes, summer is gone and we're in September, which means we are a month away from our October series.
I'm so excited.
So here I am to say, if you did not listen to our last October series, please, you should really re-listen to it again. I'm planning on re-listening to it again.
Yeah.
The stories were phenomenal. The stuff that you guys sent was, I literally couldn't read your emails at night.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I was like, no, I'm gonna, because typically whenever we record, I would look up the email that I want to read. Yeah. Like I would pick one the night before. And I couldn't do it.
No, some of them got
I was like,
really
I gotta do it
freaky.
in the morning. And so especially when you read a lot of them, it gets to you. So
we basically like begged people to stop sending the stories because I was like, hi, I would like to sleep again. So please.
It was December and people were still sending October series stories. So all that to say is we're a month away. It's officially time for you guys to start sending these in. All you have to do is email us your scary story and put October series in the title so we know that it's for October. We'll put that in a separate category and then we'll go through that. I'm so pumped for this. You guys know me and Taryn went full out with our Halloween costumes and you better believe we're going to do the same, especially because we have so much time on our hands now.
So much time.
so much. So good
time.
So looking forward to that.
We got to get videos figured out before October because I know. That's the most entertaining part is watching.
Maybe we'll bring it back for October series. And that'll be like from then on out.
You know? Mark's listening like, oh, okay.
He's going, sure, guys, sure.
Here we go.
We talk the talk. We never walk the walk.
The laziest podcasters you'll ever meet.
But, you know.
Anywho.
Still love us.
Let's freaking jump in. Should I go first?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, do you have a tearing it up?
I do have a tearing it up.
Girl.
Should we sandwich it with our stories or should we just dive into the
That's a lot of reading for you. I feel like you should be tearing it up.
I love that. Okay.
I know how tired you get when we talk too much.
It's a lot. Also, the way they titled this is so funny. Are you ready?
Sorry, I was drinking my DC. Go ahead.
Taryn Renee loves Diet Coke.
Yeah, I do.
Fun fact. Also, I just listened to Bill Gates episode on the Armchair Expert, and he also loves Diet Coke. Addicted, apparently, like 6 cans a day.
I mean, I feel like I've tried to go down to like 1 to 2 a day. Why did you pause that?
Well, I'm looking at that cup. Okay, well, that's like a big gulp size.
That's a large.
And I know you're gonna have another one later.
Maybe, but yeah, I've definitely tried to go down a little bit, but it just makes me happy. And everyone comes at me all the time saying I'm gonna die, but I could walk outside and get hit by a car, and then I'd be miserable because I didn't have Diet Coke that morning. So,
well, you know, I used to come at you because of the DC thing. It's a lot of Diet Coke.
I toned down,
but then I was like, well, if Bill Gates does it.
Then, and because
that's all the approval I need.
I've been trying to get everyone to understand, like, I'm freaking brilliant and I'm always right. So, and maybe it's the Diet Coke. That's like a steroid.
I wouldn't
want to
be around you without Diet Coke. So,
I don't want to be around myself either.
Okay, here we go. Tearing it up. If you guys don't know what Tearing it up is, it is our segment where you guys send in funny stories, embarrassing stories, and we all get a good laugh out of it. So, here we go. This one is titled Tearing Renee, or Tearing It Freaking Up, all caps with 5 exclamation points.
I feel like this is coming straight at me. I'm a little nervous.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay. This one is from Hello.
Hi. Oh, that's a beautiful name.
It's a great name. Yeah. And they write, so here is my very embarrassing story. So I was showing at a pig show, and we had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to load up a pig in a trailer and bring them to the show. I had packed my show clothes because, I'm not going to wear my nice clothes while trying to get a 250-pound pig into a trailer.
I mean, it's valid.
Anyways, so I had packed my bag at night, and I have all my jeans in one drawer. So when I went to change in the bathroom, I had grabbed my work jeans. Oh no.
Oh.
My work jeans are about 3 inches short and have holes in all the wrong places and paint all over them. According to my brother, I looked like a, quote, hobo. And let me remind you, it was just my cousin, brother, dad, and me. So I had changed about 10 minutes before the show started. Oh, and let me also remind you that this was basically the state fair, but you could bring more than one pig. So there were close to 800 pigs there.
Wow.
Which is a crap ton. They put in parentheses, and like 500 people. I had lived 15 minutes away from the show, so my dad had gone to get me my non-quote hobo pair of jeans. Thank goodness my dad had made it just in time for me to change quickly. Oh, and on top of that, I had gotten first place in my class with my pig, which is good. But let me get to the point, ... So I went in the ring, and the judge was going to pick 4th place, and he pointed at me. Or so I thought. Apparently, there was someone kind of, sort of behind me.
Oh,
but
gosh.
Back to the point, my entire family was cheering and yelling, and I went up to the judge to shake hands, and he gave me the absolute dirtiest look ever.
Rude.
I ended up not placing. And let me remind you, this was also live streamed. So many people were watching all over the country. I love how it's country. Like you'd think it's like a town thing. No,
yeah.
It's country. My face turned tomato red and I started crying. I'm just imagining them like walking up to the stage with their hand out to shake.
That's rough.
Anyways, there's my embarrassing story. Thank you so much. Please keep this anonymous.
Ashley, are you freaking kidding me?
Mark, can you bleep out their name?
Just bleep the name and keep this in. Please.
Guys, I'm going to break this up. We need anonymous at the top.
No.
At the very top.
No, we can't put this on them. This is our fault.
I need to read fully. It's my fault. I saw a pig show and was like, done.
Again, we put zero effort into anything before we record.
Oh my God. Anyways,
they
said, have an amazing day, and I hope to get to talk to you on Instagram or something. You are like literal sisters to me.
Aww.
I don't have a sister, and I look up to you for my future.
Stop.
I really hope I can talk to you about other things, and I hope you read this story. Sorry for all the ands. Anonymous. Thank you so much, Anonymous.
Wow, Anonymous.
I really messed that. I haven't done that since like the beginning of this show. So wow.
Dude, that's so rough. Show. Okay, but like that judge sucks. Like,
I know.
Obviously, it's an accident.
Yeah.
So I would have been like hugged her and like made it a joke, like laughed with her instead of just giving her a dirty look and like
that's not fair.
No, she didn't know.
It was a mistake.
Who would do that on purpose? No one.
No.
Literally no one. That's rough. I cry all the time. Like I'm a very like in touch with my emotions person.
She is.
But when it's like a legit feeling of mine, like when I'm actually sad, mad, angry, embarrassed, whatever, you will not see me cry. And if I do break in front of people, it's my like living nightmare, because then everyone wants to be like, oh my God, are you okay? And then it's just like so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine like That's what would haunt me at night is like, I cried and everyone saw.
That's my worst fear.
Yeah.
I hate crying in front of people,
It's
period.
the worst. Yeah. You're not even good at crying in front of me.
No, I
Girl.
don't. I try not to.
I try to make you cry all the time.
It would be Taryn's like
Dream.
happiest dream if I would just be in touch with my emotions
You just
around
cry
her.
and I'm just like smiling.
She's just stroking my hair like, there.
There, Ash, let it out. Oh, freaking K. Should I jump into mine?
Let's get into it. Yes.
So mine's a very interesting one because it's more of just a story. But I thought it was so interesting. And it's one of those things, I have like fascinations with situations that I'm like, I would have never even thought of that happening.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I just think humans are cool. And when things happen, I'm like, wow, like what would I do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Roommate horror story.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Hey, Taryn. Yes, I said you first.
Oh,
It's
my
a movement.
God. It's a movement.
It's a movement. And Ash.
A 2020 movement.
I say it all fast. And Ash.
One breath.
I wanted to start by saying that I love y'all so much. Your podcast has been such a bright light in my life, and I am so thankful for your weekly upload. When I was listening to the Ashin' It Up episode and y'all said you wanted to hear more roommate stories, I immediately pulled out my laptop at work and started typing.
Oh my God.
Love that I was at work.
Yes.
I love getting things done at work, you know,
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
I should
That's
be
not,
getting.
that's not work related in any way.
Just kidding if my boss is listening. Before we get into my crazy roommate horror story, I want to introduce myself. I loved that.
Me too.
I love feeling connected.
Yeah.
You know?
Get to know each other.
My name is James. Yes, you can use my name. I'm from a small town in Alabama, and I'm going to be graduating in 18 weeks. Yes, LOL, I have a countdown. With a degree in elementary education. I am an Enneagram 3 wing 2.
Oh, hello, Alicia Marie. I said
Literally,
Nicole.
she said, shout out to Alita and TK. And I am extremely competitive. I have been with my boyfriend for almost 6 years, and I'm obsessed with him, but in a healthy way.
Okay.
I love that you clarify that.
Cool.
I'm obsessed with many things. Okay, now that you know a little bit about me, here we go. And buckle up because this is wild.
Oh my
All
God.
caps.
Oh my God.
So freshman year of college, I was assigned 3 random roommates. While I had my own room, we all had to share a common room, and I shared a bathroom with one of them. Things already didn't start out great, but I wasn't expecting to love them, so it was fine, which I think is a good way to go into anything.
Yeah.
Just being like, hey, I'm going to live with them. Who knows
The
how it's
goal
going to be.
is to live cordially.
Yeah.
You don't have to be best friends with everybody.
Nope. However, second semester, my roommate, who was a photography major, said she needed a pretty model, her words, for a photo shoot and asked me if I would do it. I never really hung out with my roommates, but I was like, sure, okay. She told me to wear jeans and a black t-shirt and tennis shoes. We went into the photography studio and she told me to sit in the corner and look sad. I was confused, but I did it, and the pictures actually turned out really cool. A week or so went by and I sort of forgot about the photo shoot. I walked into her dorm one day and saw her editing the pictures and asked her if I could see them. What she showed me, y'all would not believe. She had edited cuts, bruises, black eyes onto me.
Oh.
Yeah. She even edited a man standing in front of me holding a belt as if he was going to hang me.
What?
Right?
What?
I was reading this and I was like, wait, what? Why would this not be a previous conversation?
Yeah.
Is my first.
That's not what she signed up for at all.
She continues, and y'all, she is a good editor. Like, they looked real.
Dang.
When I saw them, I was hesitant, but she promised me that she would only show them to her professor. No one else would see them. And I think y'all can see where this is going.
Oh, shoot.
A few days go by, and I'm on my way to lunch with my boyfriend. On my way to lunch when he calls me and tells me to come to one of the buildings on campus. When I get there, he opens up the elevator door, and from floor to ceiling are all of the pictures of me, covering the entire elevator, inside the elevator.
What?
And things were like this. Oh, and these were like the size of movie posters.
What?
To make it worse, there was no context, or card explaining what the pictures were. I felt like I was in Pretty Little Liars. Dude, that's so true. You know how it was always like these massive things that you're like, where did that come from? It was like an out of body experience. And that was the first time in my life I've ever been speechless.
Yeah.
Impulsively, I ripped all of them down and threw them away. I immediately started a very long and angry text to her.
Yeah.
But my boyfriend read it and said it would make the rest of the year miserable with her. So he helped me create a more calmly worded text. We love a wise man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Love a wise man.
Yep.
She quickly read it and said, "Oh, I thought I told you I would hang them up. I'll buy you a coffee to make up for it." This girl seems very like out of touch.
Socially unaware is what I'm picking up on.
Yeah. She said, "Now, usually I can be bought with coffee, but not this time." This was in March and I lived with her until May, but I didn't speak to her again. After my meltdown, my boyfriend gave me one of his t-shirts, a jar of peanut butter, my favorite food, and told me to go take a nap. Can we just say the hero in this whole story is her boyfriend?
A big fan of him.
I was like thinking like what my future boyfriend, he needs to be like, here's a Diet Coke, here's some Chex Mix, I'm going to put on a Disney movie. See you in 2 hours.
Yeah, mine's going to be like, here's some coffee and Mint Milanos. Go chill.
Go chill.
Go take a beat. You need to calm down. Jeez.
A week later, my psychology professor came up to me after class and asked if I would come to her office hours. When I was there, she asked me if I was mentally okay because she saw the pictures of me and didn't know if it was a mean prank or a cry for help. I explained the whole story to her, and she said that she would tell the other faculty members that saw it what had actually happened. At that time, I was livid, but now I love telling the story because it's just so crazy and sounds like it came from a movie. I'm sorry this was so long. No, not at all. Loved every second. But I had to tell it after y'all said you wanted to hear more roommate stories. Thank y'all again for all y'all. It's a lot of y'all, but I feel like I'm doing great.
You're doing a wonderful job.
You are doing to support women and encourage them. I love you both. Ugh. I have so many things.
So many things. So first of all, should we just take a moment, round of applause for the boyfriend?
Oh, wait.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
He sounds like a absolute delight.
Yes.
Love where that is headed. So congrats on that. She, on the other hand, sounds like a handful. And I can't even begin to express how furious I would have been. It's simply all that needed to happen was a literal 5-second conversation to be like, hey, is it cool if I hang these?
Yeah.
Also, do you mind looking like you're a battered,
Well, the thing is like, let's just be blunt. That's not a like light subject at all. And there are so many people who have been through stuff that it's not something that should just be like a light, like, oh yeah, this just happened and I'm just throwing it up. And the fact that it was up, like, I'm sure that would have triggered a lot of people who've been through stuff. So also, no matter what, it's inappropriate. Yeah. Like, to me, in my head, like, I get the whole, it was probably an editing assignment. They probably were given some type of prompt that she thought that would make sense. So I get that that's part of the project, but anytime there's anything to do with any type of abuse or, these subjects that we should handle sensitively, there should be a lot more discussion that happens besides just like, can I take your photo? And then that happens. You know what I mean?
And clearly they're not that close. So she should have been like, hey, like, are you personally okay with this kind of photo? Because what if she had gone through something like that, or her mother or her sister or, family member, any family member?
No, it's so true.
Like that's a scary thing. And it's rude to assume that she is totally fine with that. Yeah. Because she easily could have not been and just been like, you know what? Why don't you ask someone else? Like,
I don't get that. Like, that wasn't a part of like, hey, I have a project. Mm-hmm. Can you help me? Like,
and like any photographer, just not like I'm an expert, but any photographer,
good girl.
Not any photographer I've worked with. They're like, here's the vision. Mm-hmm. Here's what I'm picturing. Here's what I want it to look like. Like, where the hell was that? You know?
Yeah. You can't just like Photoshop stuff on people and not have any type of discussion about it.
Yeah. Like, hey, like here's the project. Here's what I'm picturing. Are you cool with that? Like, that's all she had to say.
Yeah.
So
even like I've seen like celebrities, where they've posted being upset because I I think it was Megan Trainor. She like posted, she was really upset because she did a shoot for a magazine and they edited her to be skinnier, and that really upset her
that, yeah.
because she's very much like body positive, like everybody is beautiful. We love that. And she was upset, and I would be too, to be honest. Like, I'd be like, what? Like, the message you're telling me is that I'm not good enough to be on your magazine unless you shave like 20 pounds off of me.
Yeah.
And like freak that, you know what I mean? So, I think like in general, I feel like it's weird to just like affect the way that someone looks without talking to them about it.
Yeah.
But again, for me, where it gets way worse is the subject matter that she put onto her. Like that is just, and especially now, like, I just don't understand how that was like, you discover it by walking in and being like, oh, why am I like bruised and beaten? Yeah. And who is this man?
Yeah.
Like, who's the man? Where did she get the man?
I have also
weird.
That must have been some great editing if she edited in a person.
Yeah. And she said she was good. And that was the whole thing, is it looked so real that professors were talking about.
Which is like, that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. This whole thing could have been avoided by a 10-second conversation.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
All
and
it
maybe
took is for her to be like, hey, is this cool with you?
Yeah.
If not, cool. I'll find someone else.
Maybe she had a good message behind the photos. Like it was to bring, recognition or start a conversation about domestic abuse, but still, like, just so much talking should have happened before.
Wow.
I can't even imagine. Anywho, thank you so much for sending in that story.
Yeah, glad you don't have to room with her anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we don't get a lot of just like stories. So I got excited to just like,
it's so fun.
Read and talk about. But yes, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. I feel like I missed out in college because I never had like a college roommate. Because I did like 2 years of junior college. And then when I did go to college to my 4-year, I was working full time. So me and my sister, I lived off campus. So I never got that experience. Part of me, I've talked to so many people where they're like, you're so lucky. It was rough for me. And then I've had other people that were like, oh, I got lucky. I had a great roommate and it was a great experience. So sometimes I feel it and sometimes I don't.
Yeah. I think even like if your roommate specifically sucks, like it's just that it's the atmosphere of like living on campus and like being like, hey, like meet you downstairs in like 5 minutes. And then like, just, you know what I mean? It's just like fun. But yeah, I've had some rough roommates. Yeah. But I've had some good ones. And yeah, I think it's just the overall experience that was great. But I definitely think both are fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think people should be embarrassed to stay at home and save money. But if you can get that experience, it's great. But yeah.
100%.
Roommates. Hey guys, we just wanted to take a second to just say thank you for being a part of our little Unsolicited Advice family.
We love you guys so much, and it would mean so much to us if you would rate, review, subscribe, and share our podcast. Spread the word, spread the love.
Yes.
Give advice to everyone. Advice for you, advice for your mom, advice for your friends. Change the world. Help us get the word out there. And that would mean so much to us. And back to the show.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into my story. This one is, I'm going to just say it right now, anonymous.
Good job, Ash.
Thank you. And this one is titled, Mother, May I Hang Up the Phone Now?
Oh.
Sucked me right in.
Oh.
I love when you guys have cool titles. It literally, like, I was like, done. Whatever it is, done. Okay, here we go. Hi, Ashley and Taryn.
Hello.
As it should be. It should be. I hope you're both having an amazing day. You ladies are such a light in my life and so many others, and you truly deserve good things.
Oh my gosh, the other email said we were a light. We're light in the darkness. Ash.
A candle in the darkness.
What is that song?
It's my song. I just made it up.
Did you really? What?
Let me finish or get into this. Okay.
Someone please make that into a remix.
I'm done. Okay. I've been a massive YouTube fan since day one, and I've been binging this podcast for all of quarantine. That's what I'm talking about. Like, people found us during quarantine and they're fans. They like us, Taryn.
Did we get like famous yet?
I think we got cool. I think we got real cool. Next step is famous for sure.
Okay, cool.
I'm the oldest of 3 girls and the oldest girl in a massive extended family, and my mom and all of her friend group. So I'm long story short, the oldest out of all the kids in those categories. So I totally relate to y'all when you say you're the older sisters of the house. However, I am closer to TK's age, which if you guys don't know, our really close friend who has lived with us during quarantine, her name is TK and she's 23. So
yeah,
that is where Anonymous is age-wise. Wow. I feel like I said that really complicated.
Yeah, but like I followed.
I was just trying to like stop the story to explain TK's age, and all I had to say was for those of you. Anyways, we're moving on. And I've never really had that big sister in my life and have just always felt that void. Maybe that's why I love this podcast so much. I really feel like I could come to y'all with anything and you genuinely care, which I mean, all these compliments, which is
like,
thank you. It means a lot.
My heart.
Okay. She continues. I'd like to stay anonymous if that's okay.
Your wish is our command.
I have anxiety and depression, and I've had that for practically my whole life, and mild PTSD after being sexually assaulted a while ago. When I was in high school, I went to 2 different therapists to try to get help. I wanted to go. I wanted to get better. Unfortunately, they were really awful experiences. I've never felt so judged in my life. They made me feel crazy and stupid, like something was wrong with me and I was a lost cause. I left every meeting feeling so much worse and kind of started spiraling. I won't get into the details, but I most definitely hit rock bottom. Fast forward to college. I moved 16 plus hours away from home. I loved it, and I was genuinely happy for the first time in my life. However, my junior and senior year, I really started struggling with anxiety again. It's weird. I've heard that happen where you have it and then it goes away and then it comes back again. Continuing. I'm a very stereotypical type A oldest child and told myself and everyone else that, quote, I'm fine. I don't have to deal with this at this time. I'll grab a latte and get it done, which is, I feel that. I get that way too.
Yeah.
After college, I moved back home for about a year. I really didn't want to. I loved the city and had moved for college, and all of my friends lived in it or near it. I loved the culture and that part of the country and had made so many professional connections through 5 internships that I really, really loved. Good for you.
That's cool.
Look at you go. Living at home was very hard. My parents are wonderful people, but they don't really care to get to know me all that much. Sometimes they can be mean and rude. My mom, my entire life, has acted as though the 2 of us are in a competition. For instance, if we're shopping together, she'll say things like, I can't possibly be that size if you're that size, or you can't be a smaller size than me, or you're not getting that. For context, I'm 5'9" and my mom's 5'3". We have totally different body types, and there's no rhyme or reason to have a size comparison.
What the heck?
She'll make comments that constantly put me down, make me feel inadequate, etc. But she tells everyone else how great I am. It's just when we go home, I feel like at the dinner table is like the middle of a school cafeteria. I've been on the verge of tears before and at dinner before, and my sisters have asked her to stop, but she just won't lay off. While I was home, I did start going to see a psychiatrist. I'm kind of introverted and a little bit of a closed book. So between that and my rough experience with therapy, I really didn't want to, quote, talk to someone extensively, but knew I had to do something because I was having panic attacks 5 days a week. I got diagnosed and put on some medication, and they have really been helping. A few months ago, I finally got my dream job back in the city I wanted to live in with all of my friends. I moved back and have been so much happier. The medicine has really been helping, and my mom and I have a better relationship when we don't live in the same house, which I get that. I get that. However, recently, my mom's been calling me to vent, but she'll vent about marital issues, family problems, complain about our family member with cancer, money problems, basically why life isn't revolving around her. This summer, my grandma had died, and she went as far as to say that her dying was an inconvenient time because she had to go to a funeral instead of a beach vacation. What?
Wow.
Talking to her has just been really hurtful. She's selfish and has no boundaries. I can't say anything to her because she just gets meaner and more defensive and then starts crying, and then my dad will get mad at me for upsetting her. Every time I talk to her, she never lets me hang up, and my anxiety spikes. My psychiatrist wants me to start therapy in addition to the medicine, primarily to figure out how the heck to deal with my mom, but I'm scared. Therapy practically destroyed me before. I really don't want to, but I can see where my doctor's coming from. My question is, do you have any advice on how to start therapy? What to look for in a therapist? Any red flags to look out for or things to say? I'm so nervous that I want to throw up. I've done a lot of work to try and move past my experiences with my old therapist, but I'm still scared and don't want to reverse any of my progress that I've made. I guess my question is twofold, because if you have any advice on how to deal with toxic parents, I would love to hear that as well. My mom thinks we have some great relationship, but in reality, she makes me feel like my existence is a burden. I'll take any help I can get. Love you both so much. Thanks for listening to me, XO Anonymous. And then she put PS, sorry, this is a novel. It definitely was not a novel.
No.
And I feel like your story had so many layers to it that like we needed all of those to get the full picture of what you're dealing with right now. But wow, Anonymous, you're dealing with a lot.
That is so heavy in like so many freaking ways.
There's so many things. I think first off, just like a huge applause for how far you've come in your life already. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have the desire and strength and will to even like want to pursue bettering yourself and finding like a healthy place for yourself just goes to show like what an amazing person you must be.
Yeah.
Because that takes a lot of strength and effort on one's part to do that. And it's not easy. Like it's really hard. So, congratulations on being amazing and prioritizing yourself. And I'm just so pumped for your future. The therapy, there's so many things. Do you have any thoughts that you want to say?
Yeah, I think, that definitely stuck out to me. Like you seem very like self-aware, which is such a gift. I think a lot of people love to just ignore, forget, reword stories, but you seem very aware of like, okay, this is a problem. This is where I'm at. I know I need help, things like that. One, I know everyone has different opinions on medication, but like, it's not something to be ashamed of. And I know so many people that are successful on it. And I think it's something that, like, I mean, I just think about it in ways of like, if I had a hormone imbalance, like doctors would help me. I'd have to take supplements to make my body function right. So I think there's ways people can abuse and overuse, but I think that's something that, if that's what you need to create some space to be able to function, then I think that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
I definitely agree though, that I think a lot of times with medication, the goal is to like take it while you get some steps in place and then hopefully not have to take it anymore. So I think a lot of times where you see medication being really successful is when it is paired with therapy, so that you can still be making steps in life and figuring things out to create tools and whatever. Yeah. So I just think, I mean, it just kills me when people have bad experiences with therapy, because that is not what should be happening.
No.
Therapy can be really hard because you're bringing to light things that are hurtful and hard to deal with and hard to, just like revisit things from your past. But the whole point of it is to relieve some of the pressure of holding things in, to better yourself, to create clarity. So you should not be leaving therapy sessions feeling like people don't believe you, victimized, things like that. Like that, I don't know what you went through or who those people were, but they suck and they should not be in that field. Yeah. To be blunt. So I think as you're approaching this new, like wanting to go back into it, you have to separate that was not therapy. Like what you did, it was very unfortunate. You got in with the wrong people. That sucks. And I'm not diminishing it, but it's like that needs to be just well, that was then, but like now I'm going to find, like I'm actually going to get some like good help. Yeah. I think word of mouth is a huge way to find someone, like talk to your friends if anyone's going to a therapist that they like. It's important to remember, like, it's not bad to see therapists that like see other people in your life. Everything's confidential. If they're successful and people recommend them, I think that's great. But also, we've talked about so many times, you have to see it as trying on a pair of shoes. Like,
I was just going to say,
yeah. Like I'm a 7.5 usually, but in some shoes I'm an 8 and some I'm a 7. And if I just were to try on a 7.5 in every single shoe and be like, no, I'm a 7.5. I have to like stick this out, I would not be able to walk. I'd have blisters. I would be miserable. So you have to keep trying it on until you find someone that fits. I had my first therapist. She was cool, but like I left feeling very like unfulfilled. And then my next therapist that I went to was like the freaking best, to where like I would have I would go in being like, I have nothing to talk about, I'm fine today. And then I'd leave like sobbing hysterically because I'd have some breakthrough from my childhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to find someone that fits you. Every therapist is going to have a different approach, a different technique in the way that they do it. There's some therapists that are very forward and harsh, and then there's others that are very gentle and like leave space. So you've got to kind of find just what works for you and not be afraid to, go and have an initial consult with someone and be like, I didn't like them, then move on. You know what I mean? Like you have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice as far as like approaching therapy again, which I really think you should do.
Yeah. I'm actually pumped for you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once you find the right therapist, it's going to be a game-changing experience for you, because you're finally going to have someone on your side that you trust, that you can confide in, that can walk you through actual tangible steps and tools and communicative tools to deal with your mom.
Well, yeah. And I think
for
like
probably the first time ever,
she mentioned like stuff she's been through, like that's heavy freaking stuff that like, like needs to be dealt with. And so I think that you'll be surprised how much, like, even though you went to therapy for a while, it'll feel like the first time. You know what I mean? If someone's going to come and like actually help you feel heard and validated. And, like when I was going to therapy, that was what meant the most to me, is when I would throw something out being like, I know this is not a big deal. I know people have had this worse, but like this happened and it made me feel like this. And she would always take a minute to just stop and be like, that's really hard. Like, that was not easy, And I remember feeling like, like I needed that validation to be like, yeah, that did suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, there's going to be different things that should help you feel heard and seen. And then once you get that part out of the way, then you deal with like, okay, well, how do we like take steps to move forward, Yeah. But, yeah, frick, I just hate that happened to you. Like that really bothers me.
Something that sucks about family sometimes is that I think because they know you so well, they're so comfortable with you, they know your story, they tend to, maybe not intentionally, but they tend to diminish the experiences that you have, because they already know about it. There might not be a specific reason, but I think that happens often. And I think what you need is someone to finally just be like, hey, what you experienced was wrong. It was hurtful. It was abuse. And it's not okay. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is you are going to constantly have to deal with the repercussions of what happened to you. And you need someone on your side to be able to guide you through that.
Yeah.
If your family's not doing it for you and you don't have a best friend that can walk you through it also, I highly recommend a therapist. And again, like Taryn said, this is the ball's in your court. I do think you need to go to therapy with like an openness to trying everything, but I do think you need to sit there and also like decide whether or not it's a good fit. It's like dating, it doesn't mean that they're a terrible person. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It just means that he's not right for you. And that's the works the same way with a therapist. So I really think getting a good therapist on your side is going to change everything.
Yeah.
And now on to the mom stuff.
I don't.
The comments that she said to you.
Dude, my mama bear was like rising.
It's not okay. It's inappropriate.
Disgusting.
It's very childlike and kind of concerning, because it sounds to me like, even though it's weird, even though she's older and we would like to think, you know, more put together, she clearly has some serious health problems because she's very clearly, I think, living vicariously through you and comparing herself, her life, her size and shape, which is just annoying as hell, to you. And that's not motherly. That's not loving, and that's not kind, and that's not healthy.
It's not fair. You know, when you see like us as women, we have enough to deal with, like enough to deal with from like everything that society and men and other women, because women can be the worst to our own kind, which is ridiculous.
Bitches and hoes.
You know, okay. But it's just like, as a girl growing up, like your mom should be a safe person that is constantly reiterating that you are beautiful and helping you to see your own beauty and like form that confidence. So to have that person, that role in your life treat you in that way is just horrible. And I am so fortunate to have a mom that has just been my biggest support growing up, but I've had friendships like that where there's this weird competitive, like, I'm going to tear you down to make myself feel better dynamic. And I've experienced the same thing, but when we're in front of people, then I'm like the best person ever. And I'm so funny, which really the only reason that happens is because then it's a reflection of them. They want to look good. So they're making their friend seem like a cool person.
Yeah.
So I think there are so many boundaries that need to be put down. And honestly, it's probably going to get rough because it sounds like your mom doesn't respect boundaries well without, you know, taking it super personal and making it about her. I think there has to be a lot of accepting, like Ash said, I think your mom, I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about her, but just from what you said, I think she's dealing with her own battles, definitely her own inner battles. And who knows what happened to her to have her, you know, have those tendencies and act that way.
Yeah.
But I do think you can love her, even if that needs to be a little bit more from afar.
100%.
Yeah. You have to set up boundaries. And I think that's what your doctor's kind of getting at is like, okay, we can do all these things. Like we can give medication. I'm glad it's like helping, but at the end of the day, like that's such an unhealthy dynamic. So, and it's a hard thing to navigate when your end goal is still to like have that relationship. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely would really think about the boundaries that need to happen. And it's okay for you to let it go to voicemail.
Yeah.
I was going to say it.
Literally going to say the same thing. You don't have to talk to her. And I think what's cool and something that happened to me when I moved out, there's a sense of independence that comes with that. Also, you said you're done with college. So you got a job now. You've moved out, you're doing your own thing. You have every right to speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
And if she's being mean, I would just highly recommend saying things like, that was petty, or I don't appreciate that, or that was really hurtful. Why would you say that? Just, it sounds dumb, but like call her out. And she's an adult. And if you do that, I'm curious to see how she reacts. You know, if she reacts, if Taryn were to say something to me right now and I was like, what the heck? Like, that was so rude. Why would you say that? If she was very apologetic and said, I'm so sorry, I don't know where that came from, then that steers the conversation in a certain direction. Yeah. If she doesn't know what you're talking about and continues to blow right past your feelings and you being vulnerable and sharing that, then that takes the conversation in a different direction. Yeah. And I think if the latter is what happens, then I would just slowly wean off talking to her. Yeah. Don't answer her phone calls. She's fine.
Well, you know? I think too, like, you know, maybe what's cool about therapy is you can always use them as the scapegoat. Yeah. Like you can say like, hey, like I'm going to therapy. I'm really working on creating healthy boundaries and I'm doing a lot of self-reflection, self-work. Yeah. So for the meantime, like I will definitely call you, but like I have to create some space. And I would call her on days where you're feeling equipped to talk to her. Like, if you're feeling down, if you're having a hard day, don't answer the phone call. Like, you know, like make sure that you personally are okay, or like you're wanting to reach out. And if, you know, if she is not, because she said something about like she won't let her hang up, like she won't stop talking. But if the conversation, if she's crossing lines, you do need to stand up for yourself, and you don't have to be like rude. I mean, you could, if that's your approach, to be like, Mom, like stop, you know. But you could also just really calmly be like, Mom, I love you and I care about you. And I'm so sorry that you're upset, but I have to take care of my own feelings. And right now you're really affecting me. Yeah. So I'm going to hang up, and I'm not hanging up on you, but I need this conversation to stop. And I just want you to know, like, I love you, and I'll call you again soon. Yeah. And then if you have to hang up then like do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you've got to start protecting yourself. Like, I mean, at what point is it just going to be too much? You know,
I love my mom to death, 2 pieces. She's the best. Too. However, me and her have grown a lot because she would call me sometimes and vent about her day, or just want to chat, literally just want to talk. And I love that I can be that for her. Yeah. And I love when I'm able to call and chat with her as well. But there's times when it's just not a good time. Yeah. And there's times when I've had a hard day and I'm just not feeling it. And me and her have come to this great understanding when I'm like, hey, I don't feel like talking right now. She knows. Yeah. And we've, you know, ideally that would be the best situation for you, is to have some kind of code word or just simple thing that you say where it's just like, hey Mom, I love you, but I'm not in the mood to talk right now. She knows it's not offensive. It has everything to do with where I'm at. And I'm not in the mood to have a conversation right now. So maybe eventually that could be a place that something that you guys can do.
Well, and I'm sorry, but if your mom is like, your grandparent died and she's mad because it's inconvenient because she had vacation. Oof. She does not sound like she's like fully in touch with reality. No. I would honestly not take anything she said. No. With a grain of salt. Because that's ridiculous. And at some point, like with people like that in your life, you have to just be like, that's them. Mm-hmm. That's where they are at. So everything they say, I'm just going to be like, okay. Okay, Mom.
And then another thing that I think will definitely come when you talk to your therapist, your mother sounds a little narcissistic. Yeah. And the world revolves around her. And I think the sooner you realize that and start treating her like that way, the better it'll be for you, because quite frankly, it sounds like she's walking all over you.
Yeah. And like Ash said, I think when we understand, you know, even if she doesn't necessarily get diagnosed with something, your therapist will be able to create some clarity on what they think could be the issue. And then when you start researching and being like, oh, now I get it. Like, this is how she's functioning. This is how she thinks and feels and whatever. Then it does make it a lot easier to just be like, okay, I can't literally, when she's talking, I just have to tune it out.
Yeah. I'm such a huge personality quiz test person. Maybe one time when you guys are having a decent conversation, maybe you guys can do like a personality quiz test with the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs, and maybe that'll give you a little bit of a glimpse into her personality type and you. And then maybe you guys could, you know, gain a little knowledge on how each other works so you can enter into a conversation a little more effectively. But now, after like having talked about it already, I really do think the key to all your problems is finding the right therapist. Yeah. Because once you find someone, not only is she going to help you dig through your past and sort through all of that, but she's going to give you like actual tools to deal with your mother. And I really do think that's like the missing piece in your puzzle.
Yeah. No, I agree. But girl, stand up for yourself. Yeah. Create your boundaries. Yeah. It sounds like you hurt your mom's feelings anyway, so by doing absolutely nothing. So might as well do something that deserves it. Yeah. I mean, at what point, you know?
It doesn't sound like you can make her, you know, please her in any way. Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, you got to do what's best for you, boo. That's that's your only option. And, you know, you are the only one who has to live your life. And if she's making it unbearable, then I think it's time to back off.
Yeah. And please don't be discouraged. Go. I mean, you'll find the right therapist. Start talking to people. You know, talk to your doctor about recommendations they have. Yeah. But I would definitely push through, because once you find the right one, like you're going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
this is great. You know what I mean? I've never heard anyone talk about their therapist in that, like how you described. So that, I'm so sorry that happened to you. It's super unfortunate, but I do think that when you find someone that works, it's gonna erase a lot of what's happened. And I think you're gonna find healing in a lot more ways than just your mom. So I think I'm excited for you for like when you do find that person that fits. And yeah, boundaries. But thank you so much for sharing. I mean, that's such a hard topic. So I know a lot of people listening can relate to some portion of that. So
you are not the only person who's gone through that or have a past like that. Yeah. And you are not the only person with family problems, especially mom problems. So I know so many people needed to hear this, and we're sorting through a lot of people's stories right now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable with us. It means a lot. And good luck with everything. I can't wait. If you have an update, email.
Send it on in.
Send it in. We'd love to hear. Do we got a dad joke?
Of course we do. Ash, of course we do. All right, ready?
Yes.
I accidentally rubbed ketchup in my eyes. Now I have hindsight. Get it?
Yeah. Heinz. Ketchup. The brand.
Sight.
I got it. I got it. Oh my God. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, sticking to the end. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends.
Go comment ketchup. Is there a ketchup emoji?
Probably.
If there's a ketchup emoji,
there's
comment
definitely
that.
a tomato.
Definitely a tomato.
If not,
eyes.
give us tomatoes.
Whatever you want, honestly.
We love you all, and we'll talk to you in about a week.
Love you. Bye.